Hey guys, Tim here. I got a Pummel Teklovossen versus Verdance gameplay video that I think you're going to really like. It's combo Verdance trying to push just a ton of arcane damage at us. It's generally regarded as an unwinnable matchup into control Teklovossen for the control side of things. Like Teklo just doesn't have inevitability. He kind of auto-loses to the combo and can't pressure Verdance in a meaningful way. But we're going to change things up here with Pummel. Pummel is going to introduce a new way for us to disrupt. We get to be more aggressive because we have access to the mage armor as well as like the quicken boots and liquid cooled mayhem, all these cool tools that we have access to. So I'm excited to show it to you guys. Just real quick, if you enjoy this content, I think you should subscribe. It's the kind of content I would watch. So if you're like me, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to make a lot more of it. Lastly, there's going to be chapter markers in the playback bar that if you wanted to skip around, feel free to like skip the intro, go right to the ending, things like that. All right, so with that, let's talk about the cards. So the first card that we want to talk about for Verdance is Burn Bear. Burn Bear is an annoying wizard spell, and I don't really need to say more, except for the fact that it combos with Storm Striders, which is the boots that Verdance always wears, to basically reduce your starting life total by 6. And if she's on Waning Moon, which they always are now, it reduces your life total by another 3. So Burn Bear plus Storm Striders plus Waning Moon is 9 damage at instant speed on your turn. So basically, her win condition is going to be getting us low enough that a Burn Bear at instant speed guarantees that like we can never convert a 4-card hand against her, because if we ever go down to less than, let's say, 2 cards in hand, she's just going to instant speed kill us on our own turn with, our attack on the stack. Very annoying. The next card I want to point out is Rootbound Carapace. Our strategy here is actually going to be playing around the fact that Rootbound Carapace exists, because Rootbound Carapace is how they get online faster. Verdance's hero power doesn't really do anything until she has 8 Earth cards in Banish, and Rootbound Carapace with Decompose is a D-React that's going to put Earth cards into Banish for her. So by not attacking her until we're fully equipped, we're actually going to be playing around this one. The last card I want to point out is Rampant Growth. This is the combo card. Rampant Growth plus life gain, so for instance like a health potion, is going to allow her to deal around 40 damage in a single turn with Arcane. And she's going to gain like 20 life. It's basically unwinnable if she starts to pull off the combo. So we're going to try everything that we can to make it so that she can't pull off the combo, which gets into our game plan. Let's talk about it. We're a Pummel deck. Pummel is a power card here. The reason why Pummel is a power card is when we are ready to finally send disruptive attacks like Terminator Tank, Verdance loves to block. So she could easily block 9 even through Overpower with all the D-Reacts that she's running. She runs between 9 and 12 in a typical matchup and has access to things that give her Earth cards more defensive value, which is really annoying. But if we can force her to commit, let's say, 2 or 3 cards to blocking, and then pummel it, it's going to be a disaster for her. So Pummel, key card in this matchup. It really changes everything for us. The next card is Null Time Zone. If you've never played Mech, congratulations, you've probably won a lot of games. But Null Time Zone, you place it on the field, it either gets go again, and it lasts 1 last turn, or it lasts for 3 turns. And what it does is, like Censor, you name a card, and for as long as it's on the field, they cannot play or pitch the card from hand. Which, if you're like, okay, that's interesting, but I don't see the value here, we're running 2 Null Time Zone. The ideal scenario here is when Verdance pitches her Rampant Growth, we pitch our Null Time Zone, and then we drop our Null Time Zone so that for 3 turns, she can't play Rampant Growth. She can't pitch it, she can't play it, So if she pitch stacked 3 of them together, what that means for her is she has 3 0 blocks in hand that she can't do anything with. She can't block with them. She can't do they are dead cards in her hand for 3 turns. And we're going to try and hammer her as hard as we can during those turns. So this is the tech to get around the combo. I think it's really smart. I came up with this one. I'm hoping that it's like a good one. So we'll see if it ends up mattering. You can also name Burn Bear. If you're not worried about the combo, you can just be like, hey, I really want to pressure you. Please don't play Burn Bear against me. So Null Time Zone is actually really key here. I think it is a 1-card solution to this matchup. Last card I want to bring up is Cognition Nodes. Verdance loves to block, and she functionally has around 70 health. So normal hero has 40 health. She runs a ton of life gain. So in order to actually push past all of the health that she has, we need to be able to recur our CNCs and our Terminator tanks and our LCMs. So Cognition Nodes is like our Ring of Roses here, which is really amazing for us. With that, let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. All right, so I go ahead and I go first here. We're gonna review the sideboard really quick. Yeah, you can see this is our Preserve Life and Fully Equip sideboard. Which, if you pull up my deck list, you should be able to scroll down to Verdance and take a look at it. It plays into the game plan that I was talking about, and is otherwise just pretty standard. Yeah, so we are going to go first here. Cool, hold on. Let's go ahead and pull this up on the screen. So, first turn we have 2 Evos in our hand that we can cast. We have our Evo arm piece and we have our Evo head piece. This is an awesome start to the game. You would never cast Weakest Link here, you would never cast LCM here, but the fact that we go first and have access to 2 Evos is, I mean, beautiful, right? No other Teklo deck can do this, and so this is a reason to play the deck, is you can sometimes high roll. All right, let's get back into it. Yeah, so we're going to cast the Evo arm piece here, arsenal the Evo head piece, and she doesn't need to know that we have this Evo head piece. It's an instant. We can arsenal it for 5 turns if we wanted to. Just whenever it's convenient for us, we're going to play it out. And oh my god, the next turn has an Evo chess piece here, which is amazing. Ideally, what would happen here is we block with maybe 1 card. She's sending a Nourishing Emptiness. If we let this hit, she's going to get an additional int. It has Dominate. Luckily, we had that first turn equip. That plus the Fate Foreseen, I think here is going to allow us to prevent this damage and prevent her from gaining the int, importantly. Yeah, we see a Null Time Zone on top. We're going to put that to the bottom. We are also pitch stacking against her. Remember that? Mind Warp in her pitch stack is really annoying for us. We're glad to not see it, but we're going to try and end this game before that comes up again. Yeah. Play our chess piece here. Something to note here. He's actually going to do a little bit of a revert. Let me talk about this while he does it. Yeah, he wanted to arsenal a different card. So while they resolve that, let me talk. Something to note here into Verdance is she sends a ton of arcane damage at us. That's something that we need to worry about, because equipping our Steel Souls is great. She sends a lot of physical damage, but if she sees that we have 1 AB, she's just going to start hammering us with arcane spells. So it's not like a perfect situation, the fact that we're equipping over our arcane barrier here, right? So right now, for instance, we're at 1 AB. All right, so let's go ahead and look. Hold on, let me pause this one. Yeah, so, oh my god. In 3 turns, we have seen every single piece of armor that we need. That's amazing. Ideally, what we would do with this hand is pitch into Leveler, play the headpiece from Arsenal, get go again on the Leveler, and then play out the leg piece, Arsenal the War Machine, and then ideally we would start attacking her with 9 overpower every turn for the next, until the game ends, right? So we're really happy to see this hand. Ideally, we would block nothing from this hand, or we would block with our equipped armor. This is a high roll. I just want to point that out. If you've played the deck, or if you've played Teklo, we got very lucky with this start here. And yeah, so she's going to play an arcane spell into us. Like I said, her win condition is getting us to around 10 life, and then like hammering us with Burn Bear at instant speed with Storm Striders. So he correctly assesses the fact that we don't have enough arcane damage or arcane barrier to effectively block this here. So this was really heads up from him. We didn't want to AB it anyway. We're glad that it's not like a Mind Warp, right? Which would have ruined our perfect hand. But we're not happy to be taking 6 damage here. You can see that he pitches the Felling of the Crown. He's trying to second cycle us. He didn't have enough Earth spells in his graveyard to make use of the Felling of the Crown, which is probably why he's pitching it, right? He knows that this game is going to go long. If he gets to second cycle, he thinks he's going to win the game. So, you know, I'm racing to beat him. He's racing to survive and get to his pitch stack with his very powerful cards in it. This is an amazing start for Teklo, right? I mean, we have an attack that we can cast. Mental Block, we really don't care about. He is preventing 2 damage, but the Ponder is not really going to be consequential for him here, because he will have enough cards in hand, unless he converts 4 cards, right? Which is unlikely with Verdance. She's a good hero, but she doesn't do great with converting a 4-card hand like this. And it looks like he's just going to play a health potion anyway, which is going to eat his action point, and then Waning Moon for 2 damage here. Heart of Findel, a little non-traditional, that's okay. It just gains a little bit of life. AB2, we actually don't have enough to AB it. Let me go ahead and talk about this next hand here. This is going to be an interesting hand, because you see we have a War Machine. Let's go and take a look here. You see we have a War Machine in Arsenal that we can cast, and we can pummel it, which is amazing, but we need to throw away our entire hand to do it. War Machine costs 3, we would pitch Evo Hard Drive for 3, and then pummel costs 2, we would pitch War Machine and LCM to pummel it, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at what Tim does. I think Tim is going to do what we just talked about here. He's going to play the War Machine. He's going to try and pummel it. This is great. War Machine destroys the Arsenal card, so if it's not a D-React, we're going to get a ton of value. We're going to destroy at least 2 cards this turn. Let's go ahead and see what happens. I do want to analyze this turn more. I'm going to tell you about it as soon as we see what happens here. It's okay. This is a complicated matchup. I mentioned this earlier, but everyone thinks that Jarl versus Teklo is the most technical matchup that Teklo has access to. I actually think Teklo versus Verdance is the most complicated matchup. It has the most room for skill out of any Teklo matchup. Every single decision point is going to lead you to either winning or losing the game, which, you know, is unlike a lot of heroes, a lot of matchups, right? Like, this is such a skill matchup, and we're going to see it when we break down this turn in a second here. So he's going to gain a little bit of life by discarding his Fruit of the Forest. He's doing this so that he can convert his Rootbound Carapace, which is in Arsenal right now, I believe. Yeah, he wants to put some Earth cards into Banish with Decompose. He's going to block 4 on 13 here. Sorry, 3 on 13 here and take 10. And then discard a card. He gets to keep his Arsenal, but hold on. Let me go ahead and talk about this really quick. Okay. We just had an awesome hand, right? It was a pummeled War Machine for 13 on turn, what is that, 4 or 5? Which is amazing. But it's not good enough. And let's talk about why it wasn't good enough here. we had access to an additional piece of AB armor this turn. That Evo hard drive is our AB chest piece, and it has an interesting interaction with our Steel Soul chest piece in the fact that Evo hard drive is one of the only 4 mana cards in the game. Let me explain it. So when you convert the Evo Steel Soul chest piece, the processor, it makes 3 mana. Sorry, resources. Don't kill me. It makes 3 resources. And then when you play Evo hard drive, it cost reduces the next attack by 1, right? So what Tim didn't see here, he is not seeing the fact that we are losing access to AB by not playing this. I think he was thinking that we want to get value out of this Steel Soul before we equip over it, and maybe we had some extra time. But if you think about our hand was Evo hard drive, Pummel, LCM, and War Machine. If we had instead made 4 mana by equipping over our Steel Soul, so make 3 resources, cost reduced by 1, essentially makes 4 resources, right? We could still play out our War Machine, still play out our Pummel, but we would have arsenaled a War Machine at the end of the turn here, and we would have gone up 1 AB. Let me just repeat, we would have access to an additional AB, and we would have arsenaled one of our most powerful attacks. This was an obvious misplay. That Teklo is extremely complicated, so I missed it, but I want to point out this, this is how in-depth you need to be thinking about this here. Like, the way to win with Teklo is you need to be hammering them with an attack every single turn after you're fully equipped. You take tempo and then you never let it go. The nightmare scenario here is that because we pitched away our attack, the next hand doesn't have an attack, and then we've lost all tempo, right? So this was an obvious misplay. Let's go ahead and see how it works out for Tim. Yep. Goodbye, our AB armor. Look at that. Punished immediately. Our next hand doesn't have an attack. We could have converted an additional 9 damage this next turn. Instead, we're going to pitch away to prevent 2 damage. Kind of nothing, right? Yeah. Pitch away, prevent some damage with AB. And now our next hand here is just going to be Leveler, play out Cognition Nodes, and then pitch away our headpiece. We're going to end the turn with no arsenal. Cognition Nodes is really nice to play out, but we didn't need to play it out to win this game, right? We're trying to first cycle them, not second cycle them. And the fact that we equipped so early, this is just Tim not understanding what our win condition is here. He is thinking about the long game. We should have been thinking about trying to end this one first cycle, right? Yeah, play out Cognition Nodes, and then pitch to our hero power. Yeah. After the start we had, this is a terrible turn. Okay, well, at least this next hand, we got bailed out by our deck here. This next hand has AB for us, as well as an attack, and we could arsenal another attack on top of that, which is awesome. Hey, sorry about that. I cut so I could light a candle and catch my breath for a second, but let's get back into it. Picking up where we left off, we have a hand that can convert a Command and Conquer plus a Teklo Leveler, or we have a hand that can add to our Cognition Nodes. We need to pitch mana into it to get value from it. So we have a few options. We also got bailed out by our deck, which is awesome, by picking up that Evo hard drive. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we do. This hand is really flexible, but ideally we would be keeping up the pressure. Let's go ahead and see. So, the ideal scenario here, we could Evo hard drive over our Evo Steel Soul chess piece, make 3 resources, cost reduced by 1. It would allow us to do everything we want with Cognition Nodes, Teklo Leveler, and play out the Command and Conquer. And then we could arsenal the LCM for a future turn. If we arsenal the LCM, it's like arsenaling a Terminator tank if we draw into a Pummel. I just want you to remember that. It's like, because LCM is free, Pummel costs 2, we can go Leveler, LCM, Pummel for 3. This LCM is for 5. So 3 from Leveler, 5 from LCM, 4 from Pummel is 3, 5 plus 4. It's 12 damage, right? And they discard a card from 1 blue pitch, which is crazy. So it might not look like it. It does look just like vanilla damage, but it's not just vanilla damage because we can convert it with a Pummel, which is a really unique interaction. He is just going to send an pretty vanilla attack at us. He is pitching another Felling of the Crown and a Rampant Growth. We're happy to see the Rampant Growth is getting pitched at this point. I think he didn't convert the Felling of the Crown because he wanted to pitch Rampant Growth here. And maybe he really wanted to arsenal that card that he had. Yeah, so ideally, Tim in the game here would play Evo Heart Drive, make 3 resources. Yeah, it looks like he's going to do something a little bit different. That's okay. Yeah, attack for 3 with Leveler, Cognition Nodes. Let's go ahead and see what he does. Now, if I am the Verdance player here, I'm not happy to convert a Rootbound Carapace on a Leveler attack. You would do it if he was really concerned about being online, but he doesn't need to. He gets rid of his Plow Under here, which is a really important piece of disruption. I think it's because maybe he had something meaningful that he wanted to do with his hand. But let's go ahead and see. We're going to convert this Command and Conquer. We did actually commit to playing the Evo Hard Drive, which is good. There's not much that we could have done with this headpiece, so it's fine that we're pitching it away here. He is probably not happy to see this Command and Conquer, considering the fact that he probably has a Rootbound Carapace in Arsenal here, right? And then hopefully we can Cognition Nodes this. He would need to defend 6 on it for us to not Cognition Nodes it, and he can't use his D-Reacts that he has on this one. Really important in the matchup. Let's go ahead and see. You know, where are we in the game here? So I am fully equipped. My engine is online. He is at 2 out of 8 Decompose, which is not where he wants to be. He wants to be at 8 Decompose so that he can start chipping away at us whenever he gains life. So his graveyard doesn't have a lot of cards in it. You can see that that preserved life and fully equip is coming into play here, right? Because he can't convert his root bounds. The fact that he can't convert his root bounds, I'm going to revert this because I actually do it, realize I need to Cognition Nodes it. It's an attack reaction, right? It's not like an instant. Cognition Nodes it, attack reaction, yeah. Anyway, this game is going great for us so far. We had a major misplay, but we can definitely recover. The game is definitely not over. We have set ourselves up for success here. This next hand converts a Pulse Wave Protocol, which will strip a card out of his hand, and we can pitch away our Null Time Zone to have it available for that Rampant Growth that we saw. He's sending a Burn Bear at us, which we're actually really happy about. We can only AB 2 of it, but every Burn Bear that we see now is a Burn Bear we don't see later when we're at a much lower life total. I think there are a lot of things that we could do with this hand. Let's go ahead and see what Tim in the game does. So AB2, that's all we can AB from it. Yeah, into Waning Moon for another 2 damage here. Yeah, I think we're going to pitch away this Null Time Zone here. Yeah. Let's go ahead and pause on this one here and talk about this. I think that this one was a misplay. Let me talk about why. So we pitch away one of our most important attacks, Pulse Wave Protocol here, in order to prevent 1 damage. But if we had used Pulse Wave Protocol on this next turn cycle, we could have looked into his hand and grabbed out a Felling of the Crown. We could have grabbed out a Plow Under. We could have grabbed out a Mind Warp, right? Like, I can name so many. We could have grabbed a Burn Bear. I can name so many cards that would be important for us to remove from his deck. The fact that we're saving 1 life here in exchange for throwing away one of our most disruptive attacks is definitely a misplay. You know, it's these small things that add up over the course of the game that are really good to analyze in hindsight, but you got to know, like, what is my win condition? We are the beatdown here, and we need to act like it. Right now, Tim in the game is not acting like he's the beatdown. This weakest link is valuable to us, but it's not valuable without a pummel. So we don't have the pummel for it right now, so we can't even convert it. If we threw weakest link and she had a health potion in hand that we wanted to take for whatever reason, or a rampant growth in hand that we wanted to take, we wouldn't be able to take it because it's so easy for Verdance to block. She can even de-react it. Like, she can even progress her game plan while blocking. So pitching away this Pulse Wave protocol was a big mistake here. Let's get back into it. Yeah. At least we have our null time zone on the bottom of our deck. Yeah, we're going to pitch into cognition nodes. It's always important when we have an extra resource available to us to pitch into that. Leveler for 3, and then we're going to convert the LCM in our arsenal and arsenal the weakest link, which is a fine turn, but I think we really wish that we had done Pulse Wave Protocol. It would have still allowed us to attack next turn because the weakest link would have been in our hand. We could have pitched away the weakest link regardless, right? Yeah, LCM for 5. Now, if I'm in his position here, I'm really looking to de-react this one. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't have the de-react for it. He is just going to block with his Mind Warp. I think the reason why he's blocking with Mind Warp here, even though it's an important card to him... Hold on 1 second. I want to talk about this. Yeah, even though Mind Warp is an important card in this matchup, he knows that I really want to AB, and he hasn't seen any of his channel Millennium trees. He hasn't seen anything that would allow him to get the Mind Warp effect on us, so I think he's correctly assessing that Mind Warp is not going to be valuable until way later in the game, and that he would rather have the life right now. I think he's starting to understand that I'm trying to end this game in the first cycle, and that he might not get to his pitch stack, which he's playing so well. I just want to point that out. Like, that's very heads up from him to use his power card to block because he's not going to get value out of it. All right, let's get back into it. Quickly, just talking about this next hand. We can convert a pummel. That's awesome. Get excited about that one. Yeah, he is just sending Arcane at us. So he is sending Arcane at us. We have access to our last piece of Arcane armor here. I think Tim in the game is deciding whether he wants to play out this Evo short circuit or if he wants to pitch it away, or what is going to end up happening. Now, this Pulsing Aether for 5 here, for 4, and then Waning Moon is going to come afterwards because he has 2 pitch. Let's go ahead and see what Tim does, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah, so look at that. I throw away a Pulse Wave Protocol again. Not good, right? Let's go and look. So Arsenal is currently the weakest link, remember? That Arsenal, yeah. We do get to pummel the weakest link, but not happy with this. I think that Pulse Wave might have been much more useful to us. All right, so we're gonna pitch our pummel here to Leveler. And then we're gonna commit our weakest link, and we're gonna pitch away our AB armor here. Let's talk about this. This is probably another major mistake, and I want to talk about this. We are pitching away our AB armor against someone who has shown us time and time again that they want to convert Arcane into us. That is a huge mistake, right? On top of the fact that if we play out our AB armor here, it allows us to cycle a War Machine back into the 5th from the top of our deck. Conversely, like, the weakest link could steal a health potion here. It could steal a rampant growth, but having access to the Arcane Barrier is so much more valuable to us. This was another obvious misplay. We are not respecting the fact that he deals so much arcane damage to us here. Yeah, weakest link for 6. The fact that he is blocking 3 on it doesn't mean that he respects it. It just means that he's trying to preserve some life. The fact that he's only blocking 3 on a weakest link for 6 means that he doesn't respect the Pummel, which means he doesn't have a healing potion in hand. So we know this here. So we're not going to commit this Pummel here. Now, was this a mistake? Was this not a mistake? I think this was a mistake. The reason why this was a mistake here is we are trying to beat him down. We want to force him to commit cards from his hand or force him to discard cards. The fact that he's not respecting this weakest link, I think means that he has something in hand that he wants to convert. We are in a race against time here, and I don't think Tim realizes that. We should have converted this Pummel instead of arsenaling it here. This is just, he should have been at 4 less life, right? Think about it that way. He should have been at 4 less life. We got bailed out by our deck again. Crazy, right? This Evo short circuit, we see it and we can equip over. And we got punished immediately by the Plow Under. We have not been respecting the Plow Under. This is one of his most disruptive attacks that he can send at us, and we're saying goodbye to our Pummel. That's 4 damage that we could have had. He should have been at 12 here. He should have discarded a card here, but instead he gets to Arsenal, right? This next hand is very mid. I think we really wish that we had done that Pummel here. Yeah, so really the only thing we can do with this next hand is re-up our cognition nodes, leveler, and then play out an LCM. I think Tim is looking at his mana. I think he's deciding, do I want to re-up on my cognition nodes and leveler, or do I want to block 3? I think it would have been better to block 3 with his scrap hopper and then send an LCM for 4 and then arsenal the LCM for 5. Yeah, good job, Tim. You did the right thing there. Yeah, preserve life, right? That is the name of this game plan, because if we get to 10, we are dead. Yeah, we're going to play out this Evo short circuit here. Whoops. Tim in the game is actually going to pitch into cognition nodes, pitch into leveler with LCM blue. So we had the shot to, we had a chance here to LCM and then arsenal and LCM and equip short circuit. Tim in the game is not thinking about his win condition here. My win condition is not getting to second cycle and recurring value out of this cognition nodes. I am paying way too much attention to that, right? We had the opportunity to not only send an attack, but arsenal an attack this turn. That is not inconsequential when we are trying to rush them down, right? If this gets a second cycle, Tim is very optimistic about this, but if this gets a second cycle, we probably lose the game. He's been pitching his power cards, he's been pitching his rampant growths, his felling of the crowns, all for second cycle, all for us. We haven't seen 2 other burn bears yet, right? Tim is definitely misplaying by not sending this LCM, as well as equipping the short circuit. You know, we could have arsenal to attack this turn. That is so important to note, is that if we arsenal an LCM, it is like arsenaling a Terminator tank, but we just need to draw a Pummel. So, I'm not even using knowledge of what happens in this game to tell you that, like, these are minor optimizations that we could have been making this entire time that we weren't making. It shows how complex this matchup is and how you need to be ultra focused on what is my win condition for this matchup. Tim is not accurately realizing that the win condition is killing them. We're fully equipped. We don't want to get to second cycle. If we get to second cycle, we probably lose, right? So the fact that we're pitching into cognition nodes is a waste of our time, I think. And Tim is just not realizing that. Yeah, they're going to block out, and they're going to get to 6 out of 8 Earth cards and banish. Not where we want to be. We get bailed out by our deck here, right? We didn't play well, 3 times in a row now, we have disrespected Arcane Barrier. And 3 times in a row now, we've gotten bailed out by our deck. I want to point that out. All right. Again, look at this hand. Hold on. Tim. This hand has a Pummel in it. If we had Arsenal that LCM here, we have a Terminator tank, and we can Arsenal CNC for the next turn. Instead, what's going to happen here is we're going to pitch our entire hand to play Command and Conquer Pummel, which is really good. Don't get me wrong, really good to Command and Conquer Pummel with 4 resources. But we could have arsenaled this Command and Conquer for the next turn. The way you win this matchup is by spacing out your attacks. We don't have access to our Quicken Boots yet. We haven't seen our Quicken Boots. We can't double an attack here. So we need disruption every turn until she dies. And we are just playing so sloppy in that manner. It's really hard to see these lines when you're in the middle of the game. I won't point that out. Here's another hard line that just came up. Nourishing Emptiness. Do we want to let him get an additional int? So we talked about this, Command and Conquer into Pummel, but we need to convert all 4 cards to do it. So we can block 2 with our leg piece here and Fate Foreseen to fully block him out, even through Dominate. But it means we lose access to CNC Pummel. So let's talk about this real quick. The end result, as it is right now, is he is going to go up to 6 cards in hand, and we are going to take 4 damage, right? Because we always block with the leg piece. CNC plus Pummel always takes 2 cards out of his hand, right? Let's say he doesn't block. It always takes 2 cards out of his hand, so he will end the turn with 4 cards. Okay, so if we fully block this and we send CNC Leveler, he had a 5-card hand, and now he has a 4-card hand. So the fact that we have Command and Conquer Pummel, it's more disruptive because with more cards in his hand, he's going to try and block more. It's more disruptive, it deals more damage. This is just another example of like, when this game ends, he should be at -10 life, right? You know, he should be at 8 life because of the damage that we missed previously. He should have taken more damage because we should have played out that War Machine earlier for 9, right? So that is another 4 damage that he should be at. So, I mean, he should really be at 4 life right now, which means that the next attack that we should do should kill him, right? I really want to hammer that home. Like, this next attack that we have should kill him, but it's not going to, because we keep not optimizing correctly. So what we're going to do is Leveler, Command and Conquer. Sure, we preserved 4 life here, but if we can get him under 10 life, we've boxed him in, right? We talked about at the beginning of the game, like getting boxed in by Burn Bear and Stormstriders. We can box him in the same way and force him into blocking patterns if we know what our win condition is here, and we are not treating getting him down to low life total as our win condition. He goes down to 9. He should be at 1. He should be at 1 here, right? And we should be pummeling this, and he would be dead, right? This is another example where a clear misplay. The game should have ended on this turn, right? But instead, he's going to fully block our Command and Conquer. We're going to get no value from it. We don't know what that Arsenal card is, but I can guarantee if he's blocking 6 on it, we wanted to kill it, right? And we're going to Arsenal this Pummel. Yeah, next hand, we got bailed out by our deck. Summer's Fall is going to come in for 6. I think that we are going to try and convert War Machine plus Pummel here. War Machine for 3, Pitch Away Pulse Wave, Pummel for, I believe it's going to be 12 because it's yellow Pummel. And then we're going to Arsenal War Machine. We're going to take 6 for sure. Every single time we take 6 here because he's at 9. We can throw double disruption, so eat 2 cards out of his hand. We always do what we just did here. Yeah, War Machine. We're going to pummel this one. Let's go ahead and see what he does here. Yeah, and I just really want to point out, like, I have pointed out at least 3 optimizations that we could have done where the game would have been over. These things add up, right? Like, the deck is so hard to play, the matchup is so tight that missing out on 4 damage here, 4 damage there, eating a card out of his hand here, eating a card out of his hand there, is the determining factor in who wins the game, right? He should be dead. This War Machine for 12, leaking 6 damage, he should be at -10 here, right? Sorry, it leaks 4 damage. He should be at 4 and take 4 here and die, right? But instead, he is at 9, takes 4, and lives on 5, right? That is so important to know. We do get to Arsenal this War Machine, which is really good for us. We get to keep him in the grinder. He's at a life total where War Machine is boxing him in very neatly. And we draw a killer hand where he's forced to eat his health potion here. So he is committing to the fact that he cannot live long enough now to actually combo us. Again, he has played so well. He has identified that he can't combo us anymore. Yeah. This next hand, we are definitely going to be committing one of our large attacks plus Pummel. So either Terminator Tank Pummel or War Machine Pummel. We're going to go ahead and commit to War Machine Pummel. I actually think Terminator Tank Pummel here is better because if his arsenal is a D-React, it eats 3 cards, versus if his arsenal is a D-React and we play War Machine, it only eats 1 card. So it's the difference of Terminator Tank plus Pummel always eats 2 cards, no matter what. War Machine eats either 0 or 1 card, right? If he plays a D-React here, it eats 0 cards. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what he does. We never play the Charging Rods out here. I just want to mention that because pummeling when he is at 10 life is so important to us. Okay, he's not respecting it. So we're coming in for 6, and we have the Pummel. We could have arsenaled this one. I think it's fine here to look lethal on the stack, right? Sending 13, he's blocking 3, and now he shelters from the storm, which is his arsenal card, right? This is what I was talking about. He should have discarded an additional card here and been at 1 card in hand, but actually he's at 2 cards in hand. And then we would have just left War Machine in arsenal. But instead, we arsenaled the Terminator Tank. He gets to keep the Sigil of Solace and an arsenal. Yeah, he is clawing back. Definitely not happy to see this. These Fabricates are not useful to us anymore. We don't have Quicken Boots to tuck them underneath. We don't have physical damage that we care about blocking. These Fabricates would have been useful earlier in the game, but honestly, with how aggressive it's been, we would have just been using it to generate Quicken tokens. Look at that. Sigil of Solace, Sigil of Solace. We could have forced him to use these last turn. Now, with hindsight, we know that Terminator Tank wouldn't have forced him to discard any cards because he had 2 instants. He got really lucky there. But it is still really important to note that Terminator Tank was the right play. Even if it didn't end up mattering in the end there. It was the right play to do that. Yeah, so we're going to Leveler into Terminator Tank. Yeah, he's going to take it. I think the reason he's going to take it is he sees that we're at 13. And if he can just convert 1 more big attack or 1 more arcane spell like a Burn Bear here, if he converts a Burn Bear against us, the next Burn Bear is lethal, right? So let's go and look at what he does. Terminator tank for 9, we saw him put a plow under, and he's actually taken it back, and he wants to think about it some more. This Fate Foreseen is going to go into Arsenal. We could have used this Fate Foreseen to block 1 damage last turn, which I think would have been a little bit better, but it's fine. He's going to commit his chest block to this right now. We're definitely happy to see that go, but he's going to fully block out this Terminator tank with his chest piece, plus a card from hand, plus Rootbound Carapace. Yeah, definitely well played by him here. Yeah, I mean, he's playing very tight. He's obviously very good at Verdance. I want to point that out. He knows what his win condition is. The Tim who's playing the game does not know what his win condition is here. This Fate Foreseen didn't end up mattering. He sends his last plow under at us here, right? I think the other one is at the bottom of his pitch stack. We don't care about losing Fate Foreseen here. This is fine. What we do care about is the fact that it's basically 6 unblocked damage. We have a few options for what we can do. We don't want to go under 10 life, so we can block with our Command and Conquer here. And then Evo Charging Rods lets us convert both LCMs in the same turn. That is something that I think is really valuable for us to talk about here. But I do want to mention a gross misplay, which is the fact that we're LCM for 5 into LCM for 6. If in response here, or not in response here, something that we need to keep in mind is he doesn't just need to kill us with Burn Bear. If we go down to 0 cards in hand and he does, like, say, Waning Moon, he can take us down to less than 9 life on our turn with 1 card in hand, right? So let's go ahead and see. I think we're thinking about what is the chance that he has, like, a Burn Bear here. We haven't seen his last 2 Burn Bear. It is for sure within the next 15 cards, which means it's in the next 2 or 3 hands, right? We don't care about cognition nodes, Tim. We don't need to put this LCM on the bottom of our deck. The game is going to be over in the next 2 turns. It's okay, Tim. You're doing a great job. Maybe get some sleep. Yeah. And then LCM for lethal. This is LCM for 6 for lethal. He has to respect it. He has to give us a card, at least. Yeah, so he's going to give us a Rootbound. Mixed bag, really, right? Like, maybe we should have arsenaled this one. Maybe we should have sent it. I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer here. You know, we're getting cards out of his hand. This could have been, like, an attack that he wanted to convert against us here. And then he's going to send arcane damage at us. I want to mention that this is going to be enough to put us under 10 life. This overflow the Aether Well, you're seeing that I'm really thinking about it here. We have a hand that can convert 9 from Terminator tank, plus Leveler, plus 6 from LCM with the Quicken Boots. So we have a hand that converts 18 damage with the Disruption, versus Tim is worried about losing to Burn Bear. You can see I'm checking what is the chance that he has any combination of arcane spells. So I am going to pitch away my ability to do 18 damage here, because I'm afraid of losing to Burn Bear. I just want to mention that. Yeah, pitch away 3, and then he's going to play Waning Moon, and then we're going to pitch away another 2 here. Yeah, and just send LCM. All right, this is a really important hand to analyze. Tim in the game doesn't realize he's already lost. Even though I'm at 10, Tim in the game has already lost. The only way I could have won here is if I respect the fact that my win condition is attacking him, and I play smart. Let's talk about a way to feel out for Burn Bear without losing the game immediately. So he's at 4, meaning if I make a Quicken token, send LCM for 0, I still have 3 plus 2. I still have 5 resources in my hand. So if I send an LCM for 0, go again, he has to commit a card in hand to blocking, at least 1 card in hand to blocking it, right? So I can feel out, like, does he want to commit to the combo? Because he needs at least 3 cards in hand to commit to the combo. Then I can pitch the weakest link to Leveler. Again, he has to respect at least 1 card in hand, right? If he decides to then combo me, I have 4 AB, so that if he burn bears me, right? I think burn bear would still kill me at that point, but in order to Storm Striders, burn bear, plus waning moon, I think he needs 6 resources. So he needs 3 cards in hand. One of them has to be burn bear, the other cards have to be blue. I guess what I'm saying here is there was a way for me to play this more patiently, to realize my win condition and still send damage and kill him. He should be dead. I want to mention that here. We did not need to respect this arcane damage like I thought that we did, because the quicken boots allow us to play our turn in a way that we can commit 1 piece at a time, force him to respond, and then we can react appropriately after he's responded, right? This is maybe the most important lesson for this matchup, is how do you treat the end game? We're in the end game here. He should die, right? But we pitched away our win condition. Tim doesn't realize I'm already dead. So the reason why I'm dead here, let's look. Tim, you've gone down to 0 cards in hand. Whoops. You went down to 0 cards in hand anyway. So if he converts burn bear now, you're actually more in danger, because if he converts burn bear now for 9, blocks with a card from hand, and then on his next turn he converts arcane damage again and leaks any damage, we're dead anyway. Whoops, Tim. Right? You went down to 0 cards in hand. I should have converted the 18 damage, right? This 6 damage, sure, it'll eat a card out of his hand, but what's stopping him from just, hey, take 9 damage, I'll block 3 on this, right? Or take 9 damage, I'll block 4 on this with a root-bound Carapace, right? So important to analyze these small decisions that are happening. Yeah. It's going to take a second. I think Charles is really thinking through here. The fact that he hasn't committed a burn bear just tells me right away that he doesn't have it. He can also metacarpal nodes me. I think that increases the damage by 1. So waning moon is 3 on my turn. Burn bear is 6 on my turn. Metacarpal nodes is 1. I'm dead from 10. Tim, you didn't even play around what you wanted to play around, right? So it's okay. This is why I think this is like the better player always wins this matchup. It is not an auto loss like it is with control. I've counted 4 opportunities to win the game already, and I've thrown away every single opportunity that I had access to, right? Just with these minor misplays. Some of them are major misplays, but just not knowing my win condition. Cadaverous tilling for 8 is rough. Just want to say that, like, he will always pressure us here with this, because our hand blocks 3 from weakest link, 3 from LCM, 3 from Terminator tank, which means that we would have no attacks in our next hand if we decide to respect this. So the Tim from last turn, the Tim from 2 turns ago, is still going to be in burn bear range, because now he's forced us into a situation where we can't even attack anymore, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to play out null time zone. We think we're really smart. We're going to name burn bear with it. Yeah, you are really smart. Good job. Null time zone, burn bear, giga brain, right? Like, really thinking here, like, I can send Terminator Tank, pressure him. He's not going to be able to do anything about it, right? But I have news for you, Tim. I have bad news, which is the fact that because you're at 5, Plume of Evergrowth plus an arcane spell, it doesn't have to be Burn Bear. So Pulsing Aether deals 4, right? So Plume of Evergrowth, grabbing back Pulsing Aether, which I now know was in his graveyard, but Tim did not check, is lethal. Lethal with lethal. He is going to kill us with lethal on the stack, because all of these misplays that we've done over the course of this game have added up at this point, right? Yeah. I've already told you what's happening. I'm just going to skip forward a little bit here. He's going to think about how to commit his combo, and then he's going to kill us on our turn, just like that. So if you don't see it, Pulsing Aether comes in for 5. We can block 0 of it, and then the game is over, right? Unfortunately, I wasn't logged in. You don't get to see my damage numbers, which I'm really sorry about. This was a frustrating loss. Let me just say that. This was a frustrating loss in a lot of ways, because I had every reason to win. My deck basically wanted to give me the win at 4 different opportunities, right? I was fully equipped by turn 3, and I threw it away on 4 separate occasions. That's really tough, but this is such an important matchup to learn. People think it's an auto loss. I hope I showed you that it's not an auto loss. If you play Teklovossen, if you have any comments or thoughts, I would love to hear them. If you play Verdance, I would love to hear your comments and thoughts about the matchup. I think we're changing the game with Pummel Teklo. I really want to point that out. Like, if you've played either side of this matchup, you know that this feels different. That was first cycle. We never hit second cycle. Now, I think we were 8 cards from second cycle when that game ended. He never had the opportunity to Rampant Growth us. He never had the opportunity to combo. We were extremely offensive. So let me just go ahead and wrap up by saying thank you guys. We passed 100 subscribers, which is awesome. If you like the content, I hope you subscribe. I want to thank Jack for helping with the edits. Jack is also making videos using different heroes and different content ideas. We have plans to do in-person content in the future and things like that. I want to thank Charles. Thank you for helping me record. You're awesome. I really enjoy playing with you. And obviously, he's so skilled at Verdance. You saw it in the matchup, right? Anyway, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. See you guys next time. Bye.